on. But and from country to country, to be fair, different countries have different tax laws, so different vehicles. But from your point of view, at the sort of normal end, I'm not going to call it the low end because I'm in that boat as well. It's as tax efficient as you can get it. That's where you start. You use all the tax efficiencies and then you step up into different things.
To leave Iraq by end of year. The Britain was 22 seconds off the four-strong leading pack going into the run. A search for space has pushed up the average price per house by 7.3% over the past year.
Time for the news. Local news.
In your local news, 7 guilty of drive-by shooting murder. 7 men have been found guilty of murdering a student who was shot dead in a feud between 2 Thai firm owners. 19-year-old Aya Hacham was mistakenly killed in the botched drive-by shooting in Blackburn on 17th May last year. Thai firm boss Feroz Suleiman had arranged the execution of a rival businessman, but the gunman he hired shot dead Mrs. Hacham instead. 7 of the 8 people who were on trial at Preston Crown Court were convicted of Miss Hacham's murder. Boris Johnson will not meet Scotland's First Minister for talks during a visit this week. Nicola Sturgeon had invited the Prime Minister to her official residence to discuss recovery after the COVID pandemic. But that will not happen. Instead, Mr. Johnson has suggested a meeting with other First Ministers at a later date.
International news.
In your international news, missing Belarus activist found dead. The head of a group helping people who have fled Belarus has been found dead near his home in neighboring Ukraine. Vitaly Shishov's body was found hanged in a park in Kyiv a day after he failed to return from a jog. Police have opened a murder inquiry and said they were investigating whether he had been killed and his death made to look like suicide. Ship hijacked by armed men of UAE. A Panama flagged ship has been hijacked by armed men in the Gulf of Oman and ordered to sail to Iran. Lloyd's List Maritime Intelligence has confirmed the bitumen tanker MV Asphalt Princess is heading into the congested approach to the Strait of Hormuz, it said. It is not clear who has seized the ship, but analysts say Iranian forces will be suspected.
Sports news.
In your sports news, Thompson-Herah completes sprint double. Elaine Thompson-Herah confirmed her place among the pantheon of sprint greats as she secured an unprecedented women's 100-meter to 100-meter double-double with a sensational victory over the longer distance in Tokyo. The 29-year-old Jamaican surged home in 21.53 seconds, just 0.19 seconds off Florence Griffith-Joyner's long-standing world record. It is the second fastest time recorded in history.
Entertainment news.
In your entertainment news, DaBaby grateful for education after recent controversy. DaBaby has posted another apology for his comments about the LGBT community, saying he appreciates the education he has received since. The US rapper also acknowledged that what he'd said on stage at Rolling Loud was hurtful and triggering. It comes as 2 more US music festivals have taken him off their lineups. In the latest post on Instagram, he said, "What I needed on these topics was education and guidance."
Welcome back to the show. It's your girl Sarah right here on Relaks Radio. Now we're having a very, very important conversation with regard to a vaccination that is being offered to children who are below the age of 18, that is 16 and 17-year-olds who are being offered the vaccine because experts have recommended that children below the age of 18 should get vaccinated. All right, that's a conversation we were having, and I'm very, very excited for you to be here because we're going to be talking about, this whole process and how, this exactly wasn't what we were told earlier, right? So why exactly are they changing their decision? What exactly has changed for them to change for them to change their perception, change their attitude with regard to what they said earlier on, right? So that's why you're tuned into Relax Radio. I'm here to keep you company all the way until 9 because, like I said, I have a lot to be sharing with you, all right? So don't forget to tune in. Don't forget to share your thoughts and your opinions with us. All you need to do is just text me on 078 share your thoughts with me, share your opinions with me because, like I said, I want to know what you are thinking, all right? Don't forget to do that. Now, let's actually head back into the conversation. But before that, I want to very quickly remind you that you can, in fact, go like us on Facebook, right? Go follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. That way, you can actually make sure that you're always informed and you're always updated about everything that happens, not just here in the UK, but in fact, all over the entire world as well. All right, and another thing that you can do is to get our app, which is available on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, which means you can listen in from anywhere in the world, really, and the possibilities are endless. So really, go get that app because it'll help you stay updated. It'll help you be informed, and it'll help you be much more aware about everything that is happening all over the world. And the best part about the app is that no matter where you are in the world, no matter what time of the day it is, you can tune in from anywhere in the world and listen into the conversation from anywhere in the world. And obviously it doesn't get any better than that, right? So obviously make sure you stay tuned. Right now, I want to very quickly get into this discussion, right? About this is not what was said earlier, so why have they changed? And obviously this that I'm referring to is this of children getting vaccinated, right? So obviously I know a lot of you have questions about why is it or rather why are they changing their minds, why they're changing their opinion, or why they're changing some of the things that they told us a few weeks back, right? Because they said children don't really need vaccines, and now they're like, oh, you know what, children do need vaccines. So why exactly is that changing? Why exactly has that changed? All right, now what exactly has previously said about children getting vaccinated? Now, in fact, when this whole thing started, there was a lot of debate about offering vaccines to children, right? And some experts said, you should give vaccines to children because it will help them go back to school. It'll help them to get back in, to get back into their normal lives and do the things that they used to do and enjoy their childhood, right? And some other people were saying, look, that children, we don't know what exactly it does, so we should wait it out a little bit and see what exactly happens. We should properly research this. We should try to get as much information as possible with regard to it and go get the vaccine. All right, that's essentially what has been told with regard to children getting the vaccine, right? Now, according to government figures, a record 1.13 million children in England were actually out of school for COVID-19 related reasons towards the end of the term. All right, and that's 1.13 million, right? That's a lot of children missing out on school because of COVID related reasons, right? And it also, in theory, if you actually think about vaccines, what it could do is that it could essentially reduce transmissions with which should basically dampen the levels of infection in the population. Right now, this is what we're seeing right now as well, and we will be talking about this in the next hour. But we've seen how the rate of infections have essentially reduced. The rate of infection has really come down with regard to how exactly, or with regard to this whole situation, right? Now we've seen how much of we've seen how the rate of infection has slowed down, and people have actually started getting much more. I mean, sure, there is an increasing number of coronavirus cases, but having said that, these people who are vaccinated are actually having a much higher chance at immunity. I mean, they're not completely immune to the virus, but obviously they have additional immunity, which is helping them, right? And something else that we need to keep in mind, obviously, is that this is actually changing, and this is helping a lot of these children, a lot of these people, rather, be much more safer, because the vaccine has in fact reduced the rate at which the virus spreads, which means it doesn't spread as fast as it used to, right? And like I said, if school children are given this vaccine according to what we are currently discussing and what we're currently going through, it means that this could potentially dampen the levels of infection in the population. And a lot of other people, especially around the world, have suggested that vaccinating children would in large not exactly be for their own benefit, but it is it's quite rare that children could be seriously ill from COVID-19. It's not impossible, it's just rare, right? And this means that that would essentially create this moral gray area where you would actually try to figure out as to whether children would be given a vaccine, and whether these, and obviously when they get the vaccine, this vaccine could possibly have side effects, and that has to be for the benefit of others, right? So then there is this moral gray area that exists as well. However, a lot of other people have said that, morally, it would be morally ambiguous to actually give the vaccine to children, where there are serious gaps in vaccine equity around the world. All right, and that's what they're saying. It's basically this moral gray area. No one really knows what exactly is the right thing to do and what exactly is the wrong thing to do, especially in this world where there is a lot of vaccine inequality, and there are so many countries out there that are actually suffering because of this, right? So obviously, a lot of high profile people such as Andrew Pollard who is actually a part of the team behind the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, has actually spoken out against vaccinating children ahead some of the most vulnerable people in other parts of the world. All right, so that is that is what is there, but make sure you stay tuned, because right now we're going to head into a small break, and after that we will be back to keep talking more about this. But until then, make sure you stay tuned. All right. Welcome back to the show. It's a girl Sarah right here on Relax Radio. You're tuned into the sunrise, and I'm here to share some, positive news with you on this beautiful Thursday morning. Because yesterday they actually said that soon 16 and 17-year-olds might be able to get vaccinated. All right, and so this is an important discussion to be having, because obviously we need to sort of really look into how exactly this situation is happening, and we need to see if it's safe and what exactly are the benefits of children getting vaccinated, right? So that's a conversation we're going to be having, and you're tuned into the sunrise with me, Sarah, and I'm here to keep you company all the way until 9 a.m. All right, so make sure you stay tuned, because we're going to be talking about a lot of interesting and important things that you'll have to keep in mind for the next few months until this pandemic is over and we're finally getting back to normal. All right, so that's what we are here for now. Before I actually move on into the conversation, I want to very quickly remind you that you can, in fact, be a part of this show. All right. All you need to do is just text me on 078 Text me, call me, let me know what you're thinking because I want to know what you are thinking. Okay. I want to know I want to know what you feel about this, whether you think we're going in the right, whether we're following the right path, whether we're going the correct direction, or whether we're doing something that we really shouldn't be doing. All right. I mean, ultimately, it's not something that you or I can decide like that. It depends on the outcome of the vaccination program and how exactly we can get rid of the pandemic. But that is something that you can think about while you're listening to Relax Radio, and you're listening to the Sunrise with me, Sarah, as well. All right. Now, before we head back into the conversation, I want to very quickly remind you that you can, in fact, go like us on Facebook, but also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, because that way you can actually make sure that you're always informed and you're always updated about everything that happens, not just here in the United Kingdom, but in fact, all over the entire world as well. All right. So don't forget to do that. Don't forget to share your thoughts and your opinions, because I would love to hear whatever it is that you have to say. All right. And something else that you can do actually is to download our app, which is available on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. That way you can actually make sure that you are listening in to Relax Radio from anywhere in the world at any time of the day. You know how you're always on your phone, we're constantly on our phones, we're constantly checking out social media, whatever it is, you're constantly on your phone, right? So in instances like that, for you to be updated, for you to be aware about everything that happens, tuning into Relax Radio can actually be the best way for you to make sure that you are talking about all of these things. All right. So don't forget to do that. Now let's actually head back into our conversation, which is basically about what why or rather why they actually went back and changed what they said earlier with regard to vaccinating children. Right now, another question that we obviously have is, what exactly is the official line? Now, a Department of Health and Social Care spokesperson actually said that they will continue to keep the vaccination of children and young people under review, and they will also be guided by the advice of the Independent Joint Committee on vaccination and immunization, right? And this is important because it's actually going to help them review and be more updated about the effects and the safety, or rather the efficacy and the safety, with regard to the vaccines that are going to be given to children who are between the ages of 16 and 17. All right. now uh now in universities, this is a whole other question. To get back into university, to get back into your life, or rather get back to how your life used to be, you need to get vaccinated, because here in the United Kingdom, for you to go to the nightclub or for you to go to bars, sometimes they require you to be fully vaccinated, right? So in that case, for you to get to school as well, these things could actually these things could actually be very, very important. Right now, scientists have actually said that opening up vaccine programs to younger groups could actually help to stem the tide of infection. All right. And the reason I'm saying that, obviously, is because it will help a lot of these young children reduce the rate at which they're getting infected from, but also try and make sure that they are much, much safer, and that they try to dampen the effect of COVID-19, just in case they come across it, right? Which in a way is absolutely amazing, because they're trying to make sure that these children are much, much safer. All right. And the more people who are vaccinated, the less infection is around. So it's less likely that you will actually become infected yourself, or you might even infect someone else, right? And how much our lives have changed, how much our lives have been disrupted because of the vaccination program, so, or rather because of the pandemic. So in instances like that, this will actually come in very handy. It will come in very, very helpful, and help a lot of these people to get their lives back to normal. All right. So that is what we are here for, and we want to make sure that we progress and we move away from the pandemic as soon as we can, because look, we've already been stuck in this for such a long time. It's not like you or I want to be stuck in this either, right? So obviously it's important for us to keep that in mind. All right. Now, something else that we need to keep in mind, obviously, is the fact that officials have also even though young people, even though we're trying to vaccinate 16 and 17-year-olds, in terms of 18 to 29-year-olds, we haven't really had too much of success, right? The reason I'm saying this is because of vaccine hesitancy. There are children out there who are very hesitant to get or rather young people out there who are very hesitant to get the vaccine. And even though the vaccine program has been open to all those who are 18 and over for some time now, there are actually still around 2.8 million people who are between the ages of 18 and 29 who are completely unvaccinated. All right. And something else they've done actually is to start these incentive schemes to actually encourage people to take up the jab offer. And it still remains to be seen what proportion of younger teenagers would actually take up that offer. All right. Now, make sure you stay tuned, because right now we're going to head into a small break. And after that, we will be back to keep talking about this. But until then, obviously, make sure you
The valuations that you place on an asset are always behind you. It's always in hindsight. It's never in front of you. And that's one of the challenges, right? Because you're always valuing what happened yesterday, and what you need is what's going to happen tomorrow. What am I saving or investing for? Why am I doing it?